Orlando.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone.
Welcome to the OZone.
The voice of Magic fans.
Welcome back to another episode of the OZone podcast, the voice of Magic fans. In the virtual studio today, you have Justin.
Yo.
Al.
What's up?
Myself, Anthony, and a very special guest joining us. We have the multi-talented Cori Yarckin.
Hey, what's up? What's up, guys?
How
So
are you?
excited to be here.
Thank you
Welcome
so
to
much
the
for
Ozone.
coming on. Yeah, thank you.
How's everyone doing during this time, man? It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's insane, especially with everyone being locked in and quarantined, kind of finding different things to do to stay entertained. Cori, what have you been up to? What are some of the things that you're doing to keep yourself busy during this time?
I mean, when it all first started, I think I was just in shock. You know, I'm still in shock, but in my life, I'm so busy. I burn the candle at both ends, and so I was just like, forced vacation, here we go, let's party. So I slept a lot, and I was just trying to stay sane, and I don't know if you guys remember, but that first couple weeks, the weather here was so amazing. So it was just taking all that in. I'm really fortunate. I live, one of the lakes here in Central Florida, so I was enjoying that. But and then it all starts to be real, and they're like, okay, well, I have to get on some sort of schedule. I need to do things. Everyone's cleaning their closets and things like that. I have yet to clean my closet. Procrastinating. I've been running. Your listeners don't know yet, or if they don't know me, that I used to be in music. So I picked up my guitar again, which has been fun. Kind of reteaching myself to play guitar now that I have all this time on my hands, cooking a lot. I'm not the best cook, but I love to go in the cabinet and just see what's there and then make something out of nothing. So it takes a lot less planning that way. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I could agree with you. I mean, I love to cook. Regular time schedule is kind of hard to do so because work and the world is kind of always asking for things. But I like doing the same thing, no plan, just kind of look in the fridge, look in the pantry, see what's in there, and let my mind work, see how creative I can get. So that's really cool.
You could just go into your the cabinet and you find the random things you have, and then I put it into Google, and then I can make this. There you go.
That's smart. I never thought about that, but that's actually really, really smart.
I think to me, it still hasn't fully hit. It didn't hit me. It took a while for it to really realize that this is here in Orlando, because at first it was only a couple people that got tested for it, and then just started adding up and piling up, and then adjustments from work started happening. I have my wife is currently pregnant at home, so we've been kind of adjusting as well, not going out, and if we did go out, being super protective. And there's been a lot of Netflix binging as well. So it's surprising to hear that no TV watching from you. You've been staying busy.
Well, I mean, a little TV here. I mean, I was on the Tiger King train. I loved every second of it, apart from the sad bit, just that the animals, of course, but it was just the most interesting thing I've seen in a long time.
Me and my wife, we binge watched it all in one day. I'm trying to get Al and Justin to hop on too, because they haven't seen it either.
I must not be that cool. I mean, I hear people talk about Tiger King all the time, but I try to avoid things that are massively popular until after the fact. But I'm sure it's something that I'll eventually
It's
watch.
one of those things, when we started watching, I would look at my husband, and every 3 minutes he'd be like, is this real? At the end, we thought they were all going to come take a bow, and it was all, Blair Witch Project, fake, so, but it's not. So that's what's so interesting, is the characters.
So, Cori, how long have you been in Orlando?
So I grew up here. I wasn't born here, but I moved here when I was 3. So most of my life, and Orlando was a great place to grow up. I moved away for a little bit. I was in LA for a couple years, and it really took me leaving Orlando to really appreciate what we had here. It's like, so, I went to high school here. I went to UCF, and then I stayed here after school. And I was like, I gotta get out of this town. But it was like living in LA that was, like you can't go to the grocery store. Like you can do like one errand a day there. And just coming back here, and I'm so excited for where the city is going. It's come such a long way, like with sports, obviously, and culture, and all the restaurants, and it's a really cool place to be.
I agree. I think Orlando is at that point where it's kind of, it was a small town in a way, and it's kind of losing that a little bit by embracing, like you said, more sports, more culture, more entertainment. Like the amount of artists that come to Orlando now is kind of really impressive. It's up there with some of the big cities in the country. So I think that's really cool to be able to kind of be a part of the old Orlando and still see the new Orlando take place, and for you to be a part of creating that atmosphere for other people that are possibly visiting Orlando for the first time, going to an Orlando Magic game for the first time. Cori and D Strong, that's like, that's like home.
That's
so
right.
It's really cool to have you on and be able to kind of speak about that.
Yeah. So I don't know if we said it, but I'm the MC at the games, the in-arena MC with DJ D Strong. I've been with the team now for 7 seasons. But like I said, I grew up in Orlando. I have an older brother, and growing up here, there was no other professional sports other than the Orlando Magic. So, and he's a huge basketball fan. Like I grew up like watching Shaq and Penny and Nick Anderson, and like we had season tickets from the very beginning.
Wow.
My brother used to take private lessons from Buzz Brayman, if you know that name. He was the old shooting coach for the Magic. So
Yep.
like what's so neat about my job now is that I work for the team that I grew up rooting for. And I'm still obviously rooting for the Magic every season. Through the good and the bad. But it's so fun. Like my job is so much fun, and that's kind of like my goal with it, is to just not take myself too seriously. If you guys have been to the games, you would know that. And just like, because I'm so blessed to get to do what I do.
That is awesome. Now, growing up, Cori, I know again you have a diverse career in every aspect, from singing to acting and everything in between. But growing up, what did you want to be growing up?
I mean, I was always in entertainment in some way. Like I grew up dancing and theater, and in high school I started writing music and things like that. So I think I was kind of born and bred to do what I do now. But as a kid, you're like, well, when I grow up, I want to be a veterinarian. Like I love animals, but that I did not do that. When I went to UCF, like when I first started at UCF, in my head I was like, all right, done with dance, done with everything, I'm going to be an orthodontist. And then I got to school and I realized that being an orthodontist, I think, is 10 years of school, and I was like, maybe I'll stick with music. So I mean, I really got into my music when I was in high school, and like I said, I was like 15, and I got a guitar and I started writing music with friends, and it kind of parlayed into this thing. And after high school, like I really was like, yeah, music is what I want to do, and I went hardcore for that.
I would imagine that was part of the decision why you moved over to LA.
Yeah, so part of my story is that before Instagram and before Facebook and before TikTok, there was MySpace, right? And I was really big on MySpace. I was like the #1 unsigned artist on MySpace, which I'm proud of still.
Whoa, yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
It was crazy. Like I get like these social media stars now, it's a full-time job. Whether you're on YouTube or Instagram, like these people are planning everything they do, and you're working all day on what you're doing. So that was the life I lived. I was like literally responding to fans all day and posting and whatnot. But what it did for me is that it opened up so many doors. Like I had a publishing deal from it, which means I had this company that would represent all my music for like TV and film. So I got like music on TV, which is super cool. And it got me into writing sessions with, big producers and big writers, and opening up for big bands and Rolling Stone. And I had a couple albums in Japan. So it was like super cool, a great platform. And at the peak of like when my music and my band was doing really well, I was like, what's the next step? LA, right? So I moved to LA, and I went from big fish, small pond here in Orlando to small fish, very, very big pond. And I'm an extra small fish if you guys have seen me in person.
Yeah, you've actually helped me win a halftime or a third quarter contest. So we've met before, which is kind of cool.
You look so familiar. Which contest were you in?
It was the shoe shuffle a couple months back.
I don't give the answer away, guys. Don't tell people.
Definitely not.
At the games, the goal is to have fun, and we want people to win. I mean, I will never like really give the answer away, but I sometimes will hint and be like, "Are you sure?" But that's a hard one. If you're not paying attention during shoe shuffle, you can.
And it's loud in there. People don't realize, like, once you hear the crowd, it kind of changes it a little bit. There's a little bit of pressure.
Were you nervous when you were on the contest?
I was nervous when I met you, and then but you were like super cool, like made it super easy, and then I wasn't nervous anymore. But at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on the screen and everybody's gonna see me, and it's awkward, but it was cool. It was a good experience.
That's cool. Good. I'm glad you had fun and you won, and I helped you win. Don't tell anyone.
No.
So then, Cori, how do you transition from number one unsigned artist to MySpace, moving to LA, coming back to Orlando, and then jumping into emceeing for the Magic or working with the Magic organization?
Yeah, so when I was in LA, I couldn't pay my rent, and because music doesn't really pay the bills if you're not, Taylor Swift, or anyone like that. So I kind of randomly fell into hosting. My girlfriend, she got me a job working for Fox, like doing red carpet, like movie premieres and press junkets and things like that. I did not go to school for broadcast journalism. I had no idea what I was doing. I just, I'm not really shy. So I was just like interviewing people on red carpets all the time. You never saw my face. You would just see my hand. So that might be really famous. And they would sell the bits to like Fox all around the country. So that's kind of like where I cut my teeth getting into hosting. And one morning I woke up and I realized I wasn't doing music anymore. I was working for Fox and quite honestly, it wasn't like doing the movie premieres. It sounds so cool, like interviewing celebrities, but personally it wasn't like the passion, and that wasn't like my goals when I went there. So I woke up one day and I was like, I'm moving home. So I came back to Orlando, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. The opportunities for entertainment here are much different than in LA. So it was actually over the summer, I don't know, I had applied for like random jobs at like a roofing company, and like I was trying to like work for the shoe company and things like that. And then the flyer came through for the Orlando Magic Dancer auditions. Remember, I grew up dancing, but I hadn't danced in like a long time. When I went to UCF, I lived with Magic dancers, and it was like, so they had the best time ever, but I never did that. It was just something that looked like a lot of fun, and I never got the chance to do it. So I like texted my husband and I was like, what do you think if I just be a Magic dancer? And he was like, yeah, go for it. Meanwhile, thinking like I wouldn't make the team. Well, I made the team. Okay. And that's how I kind of got my foot in the door again with the Magic. So my first season as a dancer, they were using dancers as hosts. So I don't know how long you guys have been around, but so I was on the microphone in half tops and sequins, which was terrifying. And I did that for 2 seasons. And after my second season dancing, I was like, okay, check, done that. I had so much fun, but I'm ready to not have to wear half tops and sequins anymore, and do that. And so that it just so happened that next season they were looking to have someone as the full-time host and not be using dancers anymore. And so I auditioned for 2 years basically. And that's how I got in, and it's been awesome. It's been so fun kind of developing who I am as the MC and being part of the team and just having fun with it all.
So I could imagine, the first time you're on the microphone in front of all of these people, you're nervous. There has to be some type of nerves and but you had to go through a period of time where it was like you had to reassure yourself that this was something that you wanted to do and that you could do, right?
I mean, yeah, what you have to remember is I've always been on stage, so
yeah,
I do there was definitely nerves involved, but you kind of people in our world, we thrive on that. For me, the nerves, and they still come sometimes, especially at the beginning, was just from it's a new platform for me, and everything that we're doing, which I actually love a lot about it now, is the live aspect of it. So when I'm talking on the microphone, even though they've kind of told me what I'm supposed to say, I'm not reading a teleprompter, I'm not holding cards, I'm not reading anything. It's all just it's very, very live, and when you mess up, you just go with it. Or if a contestant says something silly, you just have to kind of roll with it. So that kind of unknown is scary, but it's also fun. And there are times when you just forget, at Amway Center, 18,000 people. And I'm just I can't think about it, because if I do, I will be very nervous.
Yeah.
No,
that's a lot of people to be in front of.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what, actually, I do get nervous for still, and my bosses know this, so it's fine. But especially when D-Strong's not there, my co-host, I absolutely don't love having to do the fourth quarter hype when I'm who wants a free t-shirt? Let me hear you. That is not my favorite part of my job, but I gotta step in when he's not there to assist. So my boss will make fun of me. I'll be done with that hit and he'll be like, wow, you really killed that hype, Cori. So please yell when I'm I can't hear you. I need to hear all of you guys. Getting loud.
For sure.
Oh, for sure. We got you. That we can do.
That just means you do such a good job at hiding that, because you honestly really can't tell whatsoever. So kudos to you.
Thanks. You just, like I said, sometimes you just got to go for it. So.
Now, what's the one aspect of your job, Cori, currently with the Magic that you enjoy the most?
I mean, there's so many things I love about my job with the Magic. Obviously the people, everyone on they're not called the Blue Crew anymore. They're called the 3-2-1 Hype. Everyone's so nice. I get ready in the same locker room as the dancers, which are now the 407, previously the Magic dancers, of course. So it's fun to have that camaraderie. And if I what do you think about this top or this jacket or this one giant earring that I'm wearing? I have 2 on today. I love the people. I love now that I've been there for 7 seasons. Obviously, I get to know the fans, and I see people every night and season ticket holders. And I love when it's someone's first Magic game ever, and they got picked for a contest, and then I'm yes, we've hooked them. Making part of the Magic's mission is they call it creating legendary moments, and I really take that to heart. So anytime I can do something extra special for someone or make it that much more memorable, I really enjoy that part about it. Just seeing the fun people have at Amway Center. I think that at the end of the day, I mean, we're playing basketball, of course, and that's what we're there for, but it's also a show. So I'm on the other side of things. I'm on the entertainment side of things, and knowing that we put on a really great show collectively. It's definitely not a one-woman show here. There's so much that goes into it. It is really incredible. And then on top of that, I love getting dressed. I have a lot of fun putting together these outfits and wearing the crazy shoes and random stuff to sporting events that people wouldn't necessarily think is something that you would wear to a major sporting event. So I have a lot of fun with the outfits and stuff like that too. Yeah, and all the free stuff I get from the teen shop.
Oh, that's definitely a perk, but that's creative expression, which kind of fits into who you are as a person and what you've done your entire life. So as cliche as this may sound, I feel like you're tailor made for what it is that you're doing. Your personality fits it, and like you said, everything that you've done up to this point has kind of helped you become what you are. So how what would you say is like one moment where it was kind of like you realized like I've made it, I'm good?
I mean, you can ask any. I don't know. I don't think I don't think I've ever had that feeling like I've made it. Um, because I'm always, you always in entertainment. You're like you're only as good as the thing you did or doing or So, in regards to the magic, I think getting to go to AllStar 3 times now has been such an honor. For one, the fact that they asked me back, is like, okay, I did a good job, like, cool. But being there, like, on All-Star Saturday night and being, one of 3 hosts out of all the teams in the NBA to represent not only the Magic, but the NBA, and have, like, them trust me to do that, that was, probably, those are probably up there.
And how does someone get selected for that? So, as you said, the NBA is the one that chooses, and they chose 3 different hosts from all the different NBA teams. How does someone get selected?
So for the big NBA events, especially for All-Star Weekend, it's they bring in people from all over, all the different teams in regards to like producers and entertainment directors and all the different performance teams and things like that. So there's a big committee that works on that, and I think that they kind of like nominate people in a way, like, how about this host, or they talk about like, oh, have you seen this, and they can see all that footage. A few years ago, my boss had put me forward for it, and so I got to go. And there are other hosts, but each event has different hosts. So that first year, and at All-Star, there's 2 different arenas. There's like the big arena where there's the Friday night Rising Star game, All-Star Saturday night, and then the Sunday game. There's 3 events in that. And then the small arena, there's like all the other stuff, like the press day, the celebrity game, All-Star practice and things like that. So that first year I had like 5 events I did in the smaller arena, which was a lot. And that's why I was really thankful that they asked me back, because the fact that I was able to handle, I don't know, it was, like I said, it was a lot. But anyhow, so my boss put me forward for it, and then they consider, and then I think they kind of give you a chance. And then once they trust you, they're like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, I don't know that I'll go back next year or not. It's, but even if I don't, it's been like so cool. So cool.
Now, how did this love for Stuff the Magic Dragon go about? Because obviously it's no secret, you're avid about it. How did that really get going? And by far, out of everyone that I've seen, you have by far the most amount of Stuff Magic gear I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
It's like
I
it's
take
exclusive.
pride in that. I mean, like I said, I grew up here in Orlando, and we always had season tickets. So as a kid, like coming to the games, especially being a girl, like that, it was Stuff in the dancers. I think the first Magic, like anything I ever got was a little pair of Stuff earrings. I don't know where they are. They're like obviously from years and years and years ago. So, and then just working for the team, I just think he's so great. Okay, like I'm not gonna like hide it. He wins all the awards for a reason, and that Stuff creates all of his own content. Like he comes up with all those ideas. He films all those videos. Awesome. He comes with all the skits. Like it's all him. And then on top of it, at the games, like he's amazing. He's so funny, and like, I know obviously not to ruin the magic for anyone, but there is a person under there, and I know him too. And so like when I or her, can't tell you, when I'm seeing that person like I just, when I look at Stuff when he's fully dressed, I'm like, I don't see the real person. I see Stuff, so it's so strange. Just like Mickey Mouse for me, I guess.
Yeah. It's like Santa Claus.
Yeah, I think he's so great. I mean, who makes freaking half-court shots from the top of a ladder on the first try? Like, and
yeah,
I don't know.
Unbelievable.
My heart, I get scared for he does that. He has the hovercraft thing right? He's
Yes.
up on a platform, 20 feet in the air, in a handstand, on the hovering, doing circles. And I'm like, I don't know how HR feels about this, but
Yeah.
it's amazing.
No, stuff is
anyhow.
incredible. He's I would say if you've never been to a Magic game, Stuff is guaranteed to amaze you multiple times a night, and his crowd engagement is like the best I've seen ever.
Ever. It doesn't matter if we're winning or losing. Like, people love stuff. Like, he might be the biggest star in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually on a mission to try to find out who Stuff is exactly.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no like clues anywhere. There's
Yeah.
nothing.
I can't tell you.
No.
Yeah, I believe
He's
it.
real.
I sent him a DM to see if we can get him on the podcast just to see what a response would be, and he said, "I'm not sure if anyone can hear me on a podcast." So that's as far as we've gone.
I speak
Yeah.
dragon, by the way. Like, he'll be talk, and I'm like, okay, like, yeah, like, I know what he's saying.
You know what's
That is
funny?
really
So I've
cool.
seen you at the games doing that, like communicating with stuff, and my wife and I go to the games. I'm like, hey, like I wonder, can she hear him? How do they, like, it's a body signals? How do they communicate? But I guess it's dragon
speak
language.
dragon, and he has a dragon keeper. I don't know. That's what their
Yes.
official job title is, the dragon keeper.
Dragon Keeper.
Love.
That's insane.
And of course, you guys have seen my stuff, like costume, right? My
Yes.
homemade stuff costume, by the way.
Oh, that's homemade.
Well, I mean, I got the hat from the team shop, but the rest of it is homemade.
Wow.
That is
I wear
incredible.
it literally every opportunity that sort of makes sense. And
Any particular memories, Cori? Any like memorable moments of you and stuff in your 7 years with the Magic? Anything you can recall that, like, wow, like that one time I'll never forget?
oh, me and stuff. I mean, anytime we dress alike, I love that. But yeah. So so last season, it was Steph's birthday, which is like my favorite game, of course. I bought this, like, I don't even know what it's called. It's like, it's not a recorder, but it's like a keyboard recorder that you blow in and play at the same time. And I taught myself how to play Happy Birthday on it. So like my greatest moment was playing stuff Happy Birthday on this keytar recorder thing in my stuff outfit. I was like on the Jumbotron, like, and I was sweating, and it was amazing. So I love that. We just, and last season we did the I don't know if you guys were there or not, but you can look up. There was like a lip sync battle we did. D Strong, I think, sang Adele, and then stuff, I forget what stuff did, but I was MC Hammer, and even though Stuff has to win everything, I definitely won that one. So that was a really fun skit I got to do with Stuff. That's a good one.
That is
That is
pretty
awesome.
pretty cool. So now we're gonna jump into in the ozone with Cori. It's gonna be a couple of rapid fire questions, and yeah, you just give us your best answer, okay?
Okay, I hope I get them right.
All right. Well, they're all about your person, so it'll be okay. Favorite city
Same.
to travel to, and one city you wish you could visit in the near future.
Gosh, I love New York City. I went there so much when I was doing music. So, that is definitely up there on my list. Last summer I went to Barcelona, which was so fun. Like, just the culture and the people and the food and the vibe. It's just so chill there. I had so much fun. A place I'd love to go. I mean, I have been to Japan, but I really want to go over to like some of the Asian countries. Singapore is up there on my list, like just to see that architecture and like the food, and I want to go to Bali. So might have to wait a while for those ones.
Yeah, just a
at
little
this
bit.
point, but I'll dream about it.
Cori, what is your most memorable Orlando Magic moment?
I mean, there's so many. I think, gosh, there's a few. Can I say a few? Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm going to do what I want.
your world.
When I made the team as a dancer, that was a big moment for me. And I think the very first time I walked out on the court in an Orlando Magic dancer costume, it was terrifying. I'm like, oh my God. But it was super cool. And having that experience, I loved, like I said, AllStar, doing AllStar Saturday night, just is it's just incredible, like being in that atmosphere with celebrities and all the best players in the NBA, and just it's so cool. And then I think probably my top moment at Amway Center is last season, that very first home playoff game against the Raptors.
Yes.
Like the energy in the building that night, like, oh, that was like the best moment for Strong and I, because like to have that kind of, like I said, energy from the fans, like we just like wish it was like that every night, like people going crazy. We need like the fans to start like stepping it up and doing that every game. But that was just so awesome.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how important the playoff atmosphere is. It is completely different from regular season to, the playoff space. So I can only imagine how crazy that was.
Yeah, it was so fun. So fun.
Now, Cori, talking back about one of your most, the best moments you've had, going to the All-Star Saturday night. This year, you were there in Chicago for the dunk contest. A little controversial. We kind of saw what happened. Now, you posted a video right after Aaron's last dunk. And much like all of us, you were celebrating the fact that it's over. He dunked over Taco. We're done here. Should he have won that dunk contest?
100%. 1,000,000%. He should have won the other time too. Like, it was, at the end of the day, All-Star Weekend is supposed to be fun, and it's entertaining, and it's entertainment. And the story of Aaron leading up to all of this, like especially that night because of how great he did. And to be, I was courtside for that. Like, probably should have been doing my job a little bit better, not filming the whole time, but say levy. But like, what was this, just how it all unfolded it was really exciting. Like how, they got through the 4, and then they had to do a 5th, and they were like, I don't know what to do. Or was it 6? I can't remember. But when he got to that last one, you could see him. He was like, I'm out of dunks. He was talking to them. And I think he was with like Zach LaVine, who was coaching him, which blew my mind seeing that. And then he goes over to Shaq, and Shaq's like, nah, man, like, you can't write this stuff. And then Shaq like points at Taco, and then like the arena was just erupting, right? Like, and Taco comes out, and what was so cool about that obviously is that he went to UCF, at this Orlando. How tall is he? 7'4", 7'6"? Oh my God,
7'6".
the most giant human being on the planet, and he killed it. Like, and everyone was going bananas, like it's over, like he won, like, and the whole arena was like so excited. All the celebrities, all the players, everybody, like, and then cut to 30 seconds later, or however long it took for the judges, and the scores, and it was just the weirdest thing, because everyone knew he won, and then all of a sudden he didn't, and like the air went out of the building. It was like so strange, and like nobody could believe it. Everyone was in shock, and it was just such a weird way to end but I think he had a good attitude about it. We all think he won, and he won in our hearts, but I think we all know that really he won. So sorry, that's a long answer, but I wanted to give you the play-by-play.
in our hearts, AG is a 2-time dunk contest champion.
100%. I mean, yeah, for sure.
I think that we can all agree that he's going to go down as the best slam dunk contestant in the history of slam dunks, which really should mean a lot, just thinking of all the different players that have gone through that and really showcased, because he really put Orlando on the map for it. And like you said, it was entertaining. I think for me it was the worst because I was watching the slam dunk contest with the Miami Heat fan. And just the going the back and forth, it didn't end the way we wanted to, but it was definitely, you're right, it was a fun atmosphere. And they were talking about Aaron Gordon for a good 24-48 hours, if not still till this day. So
and that's the takeaway from it all for us and for him, is that, like you said, it's put his name on the map now more than once. He was an overnight sensation that first time, right? And those dunks are unbelievable. because of bubble stuff, of course, also.
Yes.
But I mean, but yeah, so, you know, you can't be too mad at it, because maybe had he won, we wouldn't still be talking about it. So, you know, that's the positive. But, you know, like we said, it's entertainment. Movies don't always end the way we want them to, do they?
Very
That's
good point.
Cori, thank you so much for joining us. That's going to wrap up the In the OZone with Cori. Cori, can you let everyone know, all the listeners, where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at Cori Yarckin. That's just my name, but it's my name. You spell it CORIYARCKIN. So Instagram is probably the best way to follow me. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys again at the games. We'll see, you know, what this evolves into. I don't really know anything, by the way, of what their plans are. I think nobody really knows yet, but we'll come back and we'll be stronger, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. And I'll throw you guys all the free T-shirts.
There you go.
We're
Thank you,
expecting
and hopefully also you could teach us how to speak dragon one day. I think we'd all benefit from that. Maybe we could talk to stuff if we learn.
I got you. Well, thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Till the next
Thank you so
time.
much, Cori.
Thank you for listening to the OZone podcast, the voice of Magic fans.
Be sure to visit our website, theozonepod.com, and remember to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on all your favorite podcast listening platforms.